couldn't resist the temptation, and they actually took the pawn on f4, which is in itself a very dangerous action, but especially dangerous when you're facing a strong attacking player like Jon Hector. So that's what happened in the game. Rook f1. White was definitely in it for giving up another pawn. We talked about this last time, that queen f3 is hitting in two directions, right? So yeah, too much pawn grabbing here. Exactly, hollow blade, that's right. They played queen c7. And also when you grab a pawn, like we discussed last time, think a little of which pawn you take. If you take the f pawn, it's like sending an invitation card to White's attack, right? So this is what we looked at last time. And one of the variations that we looked at was this one, now queen f3, and it came here. So this is the moment where I will just quiz you, just to make sure that you and me, we're on the same page here. Let's see if I can get this right. Key variation for understanding this game. I'll do this very quickly. You get only 30 seconds, and then we will continue with new examples. All right, everyone, take your time. Oh, you were not here, El. Yeah, nice. Then you have a nice challenge here. Mr. Chicky Dude, Brian, Happy Pawn, Tori Chess, congratulations. Alg, you also got it. Kind King Sam, Yugoslavian, Sarthak, and so on. El, you got it, even if you didn't arrive here last week. That's an even bigger effort. Yeah, congratulations. Hollow Blade, you also found it. So nice. Let's ask Kind King Sam. Please tell us, Kind King Sam, how did you continue here with the white pieces? Hooray, I remembered something, says Sarthak. Aha, knight takes b5, of course, when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces developed and your opponent only has one piece, it's common sense that there should be something, right? So knight takes b5, a very nice move, but it has to be calculated correctly. After pawn takes, please go ahead. Aha, that's right, Kind King Sam. You can see in the first place that there is no way to play bishop d7. Black has to play king d8. And here came the move, which might be surprising if you're not familiar with attacking logic and so on. It's okay to trade queen sometimes for attacking purposes. You're actually trading off Black's only defender, you could say, or the main defender here. Queen takes, else it was mate on e8. And here, as you can see, unfortunately, Black cannot cope with these two threats at the same time. So nice, yeah. Thanks, Kind King Sam, for that answer. Some of you were saying e5, which I think was also a good move. We looked at this last time. What did we play? Did we play bishop e7? Was that what we looked at? I remember this was also tricky for Black, but the other one is even better. Defensive trade, yeah, something like that. Aha. All right, so let's continue. I promised you that we should look at Hector's game versus Wesley So. So that's what we're going to do now. And this is a very tricky game, and we could easily talk only about this game for 1 hour. So I'll try to find a way to make it a little faster, but still to make it interesting. So this was played a few years ago. Wesley So was not as strong as nowadays, but still a very strong player. This was played some 12, 13 years ago. Wesley So was around 26, 67 rating. That was his rating, so that you understand that he was a very strong player already back then. He played the French in this game, Jon Hector with white and Wesley So with the black pieces. And as far as I know, Hector almost always plays knight c3 versus the French. It suits his style, similar to other attacking players such as Alexei Shirov. He likes to play these more aggressive setups. But I know that he also plays the gambit, this gambit. What name do you have for that gambit, anyone? What you call this gambit when you just give up this pawn and you castle? The Milner Barry, says Sue Random. Yeah, this gambit specifically, no. The gambit when you let them take on c3 and you take back. Not the other gambit where you take and then you take like that. That's a different story. Not this gambit. This one I think is not so promising. But nowadays they play the other gambit quite a lot with castles and so on. And I even saw in his great book, Jon Hector's great book, that he even tried this with the black pieces. Because since he's playing the Slav, he actually found a way to play it with the black pieces. He would play like this, and if his opponent would cooperate at this point, they would play e3 here. Yeah, you know this is a famous gambit, pawn takes and d4, and so on. He won against Jon Timman in this variation, by the way. So here he would play the same thing. So this is what I know that he has played. Something like that, and if c takes d5, I think simply bishop takes d5 And yeah, we're playing the same gambit, and it still looks great for black, right? So try not to let black castle. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how does white even compete in this gambit? Yeah, okay, we can. We had some sessions about gambit play, by the way, in the past. Maybe we should have some new sessions about that. In any case, for this game, he relied on knight c3 instead. Wesley So played the classical French. And here, of course, you have the two big choices here, e5 or bishop g5. Bishop g5 is what he chose in this game. And after bishop e7, question here. Any gambit available for white? Attacking players, they usually like using exactly happy pawn. 1 second, happy pawn replies h4, the Alekhine Chattard gambit. Attack, sorry. e5, knight e7, and h4. I played this myself also when I was a kid. I like this gambit for white. It's a little like somehow related to the what's the name of it? Benko gambit, right? The Benko gambit. It's a little related to that. You get open H file, just like in the Benko gambit. If we talk about the Benko gambit specifically, you get the A file, no, and also you get the B file. You will say if white cooperates. I mean, at some point you get both these files for you to work on. So okay, here it's more like queenside pressure and good endgames and so on. While in our example, it's about attacking perspectives, of course. So h4, white wants to attack black on the king side. In the Benko, we get both A and B files as happy pawn. Exactly. So this one I can definitely recommend. It's an interesting variation to play. One difficulty with bishop g5, I would say, it's that black has so many ways to play here. You have at least 4 different ways of playing. You can take, and already here you have 3 different ways of playing. Some people play knight e7, other people play bishop e7. Once white takes, you can also take in 2 different ways. I think this one became quite popular recently. Is this maybe Shiro who plays this also? Yeah, something like that. There is also the other line, the Makachev, which I think Rajabov is a strong player on this line, and so on. The many ways that black can play, and you can play like Wesley So played in this game. So that's a minor problem if you play bishop g5 with white on move 4. While if you play e5, it's possible that there are less variations to study. Anyway, let's continue. Let's not talk too much about openings. Let's talk about the middle game. So h4 was played in the game. We understand the idea. Opening up to h file. If black takes, we take back, and we're hoping to bring a knight to f4, for instance. There are some famous games like that you can look up. When I face this myself, I like to play the move h6, and then I try to play c5 to break white's center. But okay, that's a different story. In this game, Wesley So castled short, brave decision, but it has been played before. Queen g4 followed. You can see that bishop h6 is coming up. Black played f6. Oh, they are giving away a pawn like that. What happened? Did Wesley So blunder a pawn on e6? Anyone? Or we should not take that pawn. What do you think? Yeah, don't take on e6. Yeah, you cannot play knight x e5 right now, I suppose, since we're in check, but you can probably do it very soon. So this is, very dangerous for white, of course, to take a pawn like that. It's just opening up the game for the black pieces. So please don't do that. Aha. And he didn't do that either in the game. He played here simply knight f3. Yeah, Johnny Hector usually, instead of taking something, he is happier to give away something. In this case, as you can see, the bishop is suddenly hanging. But he has seen that if pawn takes, we talked about this last time, he has this tendency of looking for silent moves or quiet moves, or not so quiet, but the kind of moves which are not checks and not capture. So if I asked you to pick non-capture and a non-check, what would you play? Hollow Blade said, aha, exactly, bishop d3. He's keeping the cards in the pocket, you could say. Several things can happen here. One is to take, of course. Another is maybe to take like that. I put my cards in my hands, says L008. All right, sounds great. So Wesley So did not like to see this. He did not accept the challenge. He played here rook f7. Very clever move. Anyone? Why did he put the rook there? No check, says Tori. Yeah, and also I would say to play knight f8. That must be one idea for black here. But you can see that already black is a little on the defensive here. Now white takes on f6, and after knight takes f6, queen g3 Black is paying a little for this move, rook f7. They had to play here the move knight c6. There was no time for pushing the pawn in this game. White castled long at this point before resuming the attack. Black played here the move queen f8. Already, I would say both players are certainly on their own. This is not something you will find long theoretical variations. Knight on f8, no checkmate, says Happy Pawn. Prophylactic move, says L008. Yeah, in the end, they put a queen there instead. But yeah, something with this position which is still a little suspicious with Black, right? Probably not the typical game that Wesley Saw would play nowadays. But okay, this was some years ago. So what White noticed here, yeah, no pawn grabbing, by the way. Don't take that pawn, please. What White noticed here is that in some way Black is perhaps trying to do this. So anyone, if that's Black's plan, what would you play with White pieces? Exactly, Holo and 206 and Santos and Alg and Tori, exactly, they played here the move h5. So we're gaining space. We make it possible to play h6 at some point. And I will also tell you that there is a different function of this move. There is a different possibility which this move will yield us later. But I won't tell you which. You'll have to figure out that yourself. So I think he was under pressure here, Wesley, so he played bishop before. Let's try to understand that move also. Why did he play bishop before? Anyone? Could you tell me? The point, to take on c3 and get the e4 square. And also you can see that even Black can start thinking about attacking. So White played at this point. Now the game gets very interesting. He plays bishop takes f6 so that there is no knight coming to e4 about the relative value of the pieces. Black simply took back. I don't know if they took like that, what would have happened in that case. Anyone with a sharp tactical eye? What would White play here? This is not possible, right? So, well, in Jon Hector's games, usually everything is possible. Bishop e5, says Chessart. You're probably right. That's annoying for Black. The bishop is just in the air. And I don't think we have any chance of sacking, no. I think the king is just sneaking back to the king side in that case. Yeah, exactly. Good thinking. h6, yeah, that's what I was thinking about, what Wyatt was saying. h6, that's what I was thinking could be an interesting move. To open up the game a little more for the h-file and so on. Yeah, who knows? Interesting situation. What can happen here? Can Black sacrifice on their side? I don't think so. No, we can always take and the king can always run away and so on. So, yeah, either of those two moves, but maybe bishop e5 would be the best choice. In any case, let's continue. After bishop takes f6, Black simply took back with the rook on f6, and now we continue with development. We have absolutely no problems with bishop takes. We will just take back, and if they give check, I think we can safely hide the king on d2. And now White will have all the attack, and you can see Black's pieces are not playing yet. So Black played instead bishop d6. All right, guys, the next move I should quiz you for. You get only, what do you get? 30 seconds for this. 30 seconds. Let's see if you can play like my famous countryman. Okay, here we go. You don't win anything, by the way. I'm just asking you for the best continuation here. Wow, isn't that a little early, Santos and Sui? Bishop takes h7. Wow, how can you make that Greek gift work? I see, you want to play queen d3 later. Interesting. Maybe I can play rook h6. We're talking mobilization to the defense. Now we're back in the previous sessions here. Okay, a lot of winners here. Skilled Saber, Mr. Chicky, Brian, Chessart, Daniel Best, Happy Pawn. Congratulations. Please go ahead, Skilled Saber. You saw this very quickly. Let us know how to continue. Aha, 95. So we were self-pinning, but for a good reason. We are in this way dominating Black's pieces a little. And also, I don't think there were so many good options, so many good alternatives. We don't want to play queen g4 and invite them into playing e5, right? We didn't have so many other squares. If you took on h7, yeah, this is not a good idea, no. If you wanted to do this, that's what we were talking about. Queen d3, and yeah, I mean, I have two moves with the rook, but I would play this one, and I don't believe in this. Maybe there was also bishop f4, you will say, of course. Oh, I'm sorry. That's even better. Yeah, sure. So good move to play here, 95. Active move by White. And of course, he saw here, Skilled Saber, that if I take on d4, Skilled, what was coming now, as simple as that. And it's not so much about tactics, I would say. It's more about like understanding that White has a lot of pieces in the attack already. We can maybe bring the rook to g4 and continue with our attack, some move like h6 opening up the game and so on. So nice. Exactly. 95 was played in the game. Wesley Saw did not like that challenge. He played in the game instead rook takes f2. So we're talking pawn snatching here, but okay, I won't criticize his move because the consequences were very difficult to understand. So I will just ask you for the next move here. You get only 25 seconds for the next move. Anyone? Hint, don't send me the move. Happy Paul, you got the move. Congratulations. All right. I was going to send a hint here. Active exchanges. Does that sound familiar? Active exchanges. Trading off important enemy pieces. Anyone? Okay, we have more winners. HDI, RKDK, Owen, Al, Quocky, Chess Crusher. Maybe with my hint it became a little simpler also. Great to hear that. Please go ahead, Happy Pawn. You were the fastest here. How should white continue? How did white continue again? Rook f1. So that's the kind of move that strong attacking players will play. They don't get lost in crazy attacking variations like this, like some of you were saying. King takes, please notice that I have this coming up at some point here. If you were, imagining some kind of crazy attack with h6, I'm just guessing now that Wesley Saw could play queen f4 perhaps. Okay, active exchanges. I had a similar position, says Happy Pawn. Yeah, that certainly helps. If we have done such things ourselves in our games, it's easier. Why bring this rook? Well, because there are things going on the h file still. So I don't think it's a crime to play this move, but I think it's more precise to use the other rook because this one was not doing too much. So that's what he played here. So unnatural. What is unnatural? I don't follow. To me, it's natural to play. Well, maybe not, the word is not natural. The word is logical. It's logical if you look at this position. Maybe not natural if you look at it for 1 second. But if you look at the position for 10 seconds, this should come natural, I think. Rook df1 is just more simple, logical, and natural, says Southak. Okay, sounds nice. That's a very good explanation. So let's continue. Rook f1, we're trading off their main defender. We would just love to take command of the open f file. If rook takes, yeah, you can see for yourself some ideas coming up here. If I play some move, let's say queen e7, for instance. Yeah, I'm a little on my own here. I don't know exactly what would happen. Anyone, would you suggest something for white here? I'm still confused. Yeah, it's a confusing game. And wait until we get a little later. h6, Brian says bishop takes h7. All right, Brian, show us, please. I believe in what you're saying because we have a lot of pieces attacking. So please go for it, Brian. I think the time is right for this sacrifice. I take back. You bring in the queen, I guess. And I think I have big difficulties here already. Please note it that the knight was now unpinned. Aha. So I think you're winning with rook f7, exactly. Threat of mating 1 and also threat of rook takes queen. So I don't think black can survive this in any possible way. I would have to try something like that, right? But you're winning here, yeah, by knockout. No, Brian is winning by knockout. I'm losing the whole house here after queen e8. Exactly. So that's not possible. What happens if bishop takes h7, kick the queen g6? Didn't we say that, or did we say something else? I don't follow Sui. Rook f7 first also works. Oh, you want to play this first? Well, if queen takes f7, what was your next move here? Instead of rook df1. I see. Yeah, this is clear to everyone, right? We have some tactical difficulties there. So let's say what you're saying here. Instead of rook df1, you want to play bishop takes h7. All right. If Wesley Saw allowed this, that's my simple logic, then it cannot work, right? As simple as that. But okay, we will come to this. You want to play queen g6? I should go king g8. Yeah, I don't see the threats because even if you go h6 and h7, I go king h8. So how can that work? You have no threats, says Marcus. Exactly. I could even play something like knight e7, maybe bring in the knight. That's the kind of move that I like. Mobilization to the defense. I'm bringing in my pieces to defend the king. And I'm covering this square just in case. Or queen f6, says Skilled Saber. Yeah, not enough pieces, says Story. I agree. Not enough pieces. Well, we have quite some pieces, but something is wrong with the whole execution, right? At most, you can give me a check here, but then I can come back. Yeah, something went wrong with the planning or something. So, yeah, that didn't happen in the game. He played the very clever move, rook df1. And I think by now, Wesley Saw noticed that things were not going in the right way. He started with taking here so that he would not run into rook f7 later on. So white has to take back because the queen was under an attack. I don't think he even looked at queen takes f2. Yeah, attacking players, they usually shy away from this kind of what can you say, like a modest continuation. Yeah, I think in this case, black could just take, and they have a good game here, right? We got some variations here. Queen f6, queen e8, queen f8, h7, king h8, knight c6 says 206. I'm sorry. Yeah, Johnny Hector wants the king, not the material, says Sarthak. But you don't even have material here, I think. Well, you have, no, we're equal, no, about. So I don't understand your variation 206. Feel free to tell us how that works, but I don't know in which variation is that. Dream Friends, exactly. Yeah, I think we will have to leave your variation. I'm sorry, 206. We will continue. So rook takes, rook f1. Black would love to give away the exchange, but no thanks, says Johnny. He wants to attack instead. D takes e5. We're a pawn down, but that's peanuts in this kind of position. Rook takes, and queen e7. So unfortunately, our plan with bishop takes and queen g6 and rook f7 doesn't seem to work anymore. The bishop takes a7 king. Okay, very last look at this, because the game is very entertaining, and I think this is not right what we're talking about. But okay, let's be educated and let's check the variation that 206 is explaining. 206, queen f6. Oh yeah, I understand your point. Yeah, queen check, and then you're gonna play h7. You're gonna mate me. I see your point. Yeah, sure. Like this, and you're gonna play knight g6. Yeah, bravo, nice variation. But I'm just saying that I will not allow this. I have no reason to let you play like that. That's what I was saying, that in a blitz game at least I would consider something like knight e7. Exactly, Tori. Why would black play queen f6? Yeah, it's like a nervous move. No, I don't have any reason to smoke out the white king yet. So okay, maybe we can h7 and sack the queen. I see what you mean, Hollow, but I will not take your queen. I'll take your knight first, right? So I think black has everything under control here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we should perhaps continue with the game. So back to the game. It's easy to lose yourself, lose your head in all these complications. My piece of advice would be to use a little intuition also, and not only calculate variations. This is like an intuitive move, you could say. It's like common sense that we want to seize the F file here. Sorry. So bishop takes, pawn takes, rook takes, queen e7. There is no trick with bishop takes and queen g6 anymore. It appears as if white's attack has come to an end, but that's actually not correct. All right, I will ask you for the next moves here in the game. Rook d2 and white win. So this is a tricky exercise. Hint, keep the attack going. Congratulations to L and Happy Pawn. You have found the right move here. If h6, Tori, Awesome, Owen, I think I go bishop d7 there. By the way, we should always think about opponent's plans, right? When we are attacking, don't forget to think about what your opponent would like to do. That's like restriction in the attack. In this case, it appears as if black would like to go bishop d7, followed by rook f8. All right, Skilled Saber and Quoki and Sarthak, you also got it right, but fastest this time was L. Please go ahead, L. Bishop g6. Beautiful move. Just at the right moment, we are ready to play rook f7. This costs a bishop, but now, as you can see, after pawn takes, suddenly we have the h file to work on also. And you can imagine that Wesley So was sweating at this point. It looks like he's getting mated here in a few moves. But okay, black has a counter resource here also, so it's still not that simple. For the record, if you play some slower move like h6, what I'm saying here is that probably black was about to play bishop d7 and rook f8. Of course, Sarthak, this was just intuition. You cannot work out the variations on 40 seconds. That's too little time. I think this is how black's game will develop. If I get rook f8 in, I'm defending much better. So time is money. You really have to act quickly. If you took on h7, I guess I take back, and I cannot see how this is going to work, unfortunately. I think this is my next move, or perhaps that. Maybe, yeah. If you play h6, I think I should take this pawn, right? Because if I play this, I think you have a little tactic here, no? Anyone? Can you see a smart tactic for black? For white, sorry. Smart tactic for exactly 206, rook f7. That's a nice topic. Please remember this, because we will see something similar later on in this game. So if queen takes, yeah, you can see the point, right? Move order is important here. If you start with h7, it's probably working also, right? Yeah, you could play that also, right? There is no big difference. You're winning anyway here, I presume. So yeah, Harry the H pawn, exactly. Adi chess, that's right. So anyway, h6. What does that mean then? That black is in trouble? No, because I take on e5. No, that's the heartbreaker here for white. I think we can take this pawn on e5, and it's not clear that attack is really working. You would have to play something like queen g3, no? And yeah, what would Wesley Saw play at this point? It looks like the attack is not so convincing. Knights are the best defense. Yeah, I don't know exactly. This knight, by the way, it's not participating too much in this game. Yeah, anyone, what would you play with black here? I don't know. May I move the knight somewhere, like knight c4 or so? Knight c4 says hollow blade. Yeah, I don't know. It's still a tricky position, but I'm not convinced with white here. Maybe we should go back and hope for a just sack the knight, says Skill Saver. Yeah, who knows? Anyway, not so clear. We should look at the game. You're up so much material, exactly. After bishop g6, then knight d8. All right, we will look at that. So bishop g6 was played in the game. If you play knight d8 here, Santos, please notice that these guys will need some more time to get into the game. So I don't think that's a really good idea for black. Maybe you have time to even like reroute the knight and bring the knight to the attack. Is that possible? Knight b5, says Sartak. Interesting, you're going that way. Okay, some kind of trick on that side, but yeah, I'm not so convinced by knight d8 because I can't see black's next move. If you take, they will take anyway, and they will start doing these things. No, I think. Can't you just take on h7? Or maybe you can take on h7 and you're benefiting from black's black's of the back rank. So maybe let's check the game, okay? Because we have more variations left here in this game. Takes. Black played at this point the move knight d4, bringing the knight a little closer to the defense, you could say. Glitch for 1 second. No, it was probably me then. More probably on my side. Yeah. Anyway, what did white play here? Just to see if we're all awake. You get for this move only 5 seconds. Okay. Okay, Sartak, you were fastest than many other. You got it right. Please go ahead, Sartak. Tell us. We play this move if we can, right? No time. Yeah, because it's a simple move and we only have limited time here. Rook f7, they played in the game. If you go the other way with the rook, I think black will try to do something like that, obstructing white's attack. And there are no mates with rook h8 and so on because, yeah, you see what I mean, right? No mates. No mates here. We have queen h4 and so on. So that's a little too optimistic. Aha. So rook f7 was played in the game. Why not rook h1? Yeah, exactly. That's what we talked about here. So rook f1, queen d8. This is the critical moment of the game, and I think I cannot even give it to you as an exercise because it's too complex. But here, white is winning. I will ask you instead for 3 candidate moves, okay? Give it to us. You want a quiz? Really? Maybe I will give it to you then, because by pure probability, there should be a winner. Okay, I'll give it to you. But first, you do me a favor here and you tell me 3 candidate moves. I remember it being queen g4. All right, you're saying queen g4. Anyone else? Any other candidate move? I would really like you to have more than one option. King b1, that's a very clever attacking move. 206 says king b1, like a flexible attacking move. f4, that's not the queen h3, queen f4. All right, we have enough candidate moves. Pick from those moves and you'll find a solution. So I'll send you the solution here. I mean, I'll send you the variation. There are 2 very important variations, but we will focus on the most beautiful one. Or should we focus on the other one? No, we will focus on the other one. Since you're in for a challenge, you will get the challenge here. If anyone can make this whole variation work, then congratulations. It's a long variation and you will be temporarily a whole rook down, okay? That's my hint to you. Long variation, you will be down the whole rook, but there will be something in your position compensating for this. And okay, how much time? 1:10, okay? Take your time, take your time. Yeah, if you play rook takes f5, I'm giving back material. Yeah, I think he talked about that move also. Yeah, why do you give back? I take and I play bishop e6, GM, Mr. Chicky, HGI, and Ryan. If you're considering some sacrifice on f5, please notice that I can put the bishop on e6, which can go to g8, which means that I'm not scared of the check on h8 anymore. Okay, Who is getting close here? Yeah, Queen F4. That's not working. That's what he played in the game. Yeah, unfortunately, he played that in the game. What Yugoslavian skilled Al, Xalicia, and Adi are saying, but it's not really working. I'm very sorry about that. Interesting move, King B1. Okay, Sarthak, you're okay. We have one student who's very close here. New student, I think. XY Pixels. XY Fianchetto, you're closest. Okay, we have 3 winners here, 4 winners. JM Chess, L, Brian, Happy Pawn, good for you. But it almost smells like you check the game somewhere, right? Or you turn on the computer, because that's a difficult variation to find in 1 minute 10. But okay, if you found it by your own, congratulations. And if not, no hard feelings. We are here to learn. Also, Brian and L and JM Chess found this. Fastest was Chess Art. So please go for it, Chess Art, and show everybody what the Swedish Grandmaster did not see in this game. And I think nobody else could see it in the game. Queen G4. Why do we go to G4? Well, you will see very soon. Or should we talk a little about the game continuation? He played in the game Queen F4. Black played Knight F5. And after the move G4, Black was very fortunate to have this move, Knight H4. This happened in the game. It became extremely complex. White did their best here. That's crazy. Yeah, you'll see that. You'll come to that variation. This is how the game went. Wesley Saw used method that I call the Brave King. The Brave King. We had that in some of the defensive ideas sessions. Now the Brave King. If you remember Paco Vallejo's game where he walked with the king to the queen side, something like that. Well, this is another kind of walk. Look what Wesley Saw did with his king. This is not my fantasy variation. This is the game. This is exactly how the game went. This is how Wesley Saw went on to win this game. His king actually landed on F2 in the very end. This is how the game concluded. Yeah, what a sad story for White, who had such a nice attacking position. Finally, it's Black who is attacking here. So, yeah, what else could it be? Exactly, yeah, it couldn't be anything else. That's right. Yeah, Knight and King, good defensive construction. Exactly, this is a very good construction. Here it was for attacking, but also for defending. It's a great construction. I guess that's why King G8 and Knight F8 makes such a good team. So anyway, back to Chess Art. Chess Art, we will listen to you now. Now we have seen the game and a very surprising outcome. Now we should look at something even more surprising, which is the right continuation. So back to Chess Art. Yeah, he didn't win. That's a surprise, since this series is about him. Yeah, but you can only not look at the result. No, you have to look at the content of the game. To lose a game like this, I mean, it's always sad to lose, but it's a very pretty game in any case. Queen G4. So this is different, because now when I play Knight F5, you can bring the queen instantly to the H file. This was not possible last time. The thing is that when he played this, there was a variation which I think he didn't see. I think he saw this variation, the one that we will look at now with Chess Art. Please go ahead, Chess Art. He saw this, incredibly enough, he saw this move G4. So if you see this with only 1 minute on the clock, fantastic, good for you. If you believe in this, that's really like Mikhail Tal attacking, no? Like some kind of, not long-term, but mid-term attacking. You can see that you can play quiet moves like G4 and get away with it. So somehow Black is up a piece, and White has no apparent threat, you would say, but they do have, of course. Anyway, it's not possible to save this. What about Knight B5 and move 3? Remind me about that, and we will talk about it, okay? So this is a funny variation that I think he had worked out at the board. I don't know how far, but that's what I mean. Black is a rook up now, but White has these monster pawns, and there is no way to stop Queen H8. We will come back to this. I just wanted to straighten out also that if you took on F5, like some people were saying, rook takes F5, pawn takes Queen H5, Black would have this resource. Those of you with a fantastic memory, you will remember that game we saw, the Kalashnikov game, with French Grandmaster Maisuradze with the black pieces, where you remember that White had some idea like that, Bishop D3 and Bishop G1. If you don't remember, no hard feelings, but we had a game like that some time ago, and it was exactly the same mechanism, that the bishop is coming to G8, although it was G1 in that game. In attacking games, we had that attack on the castle kings. Anyway, so that did not work. The other pretty variation that we had to work out was this one, right? But we can come to that later. So Knight H6, and g4, bishop d7, g5. Please go ahead now, Chessart. I have to make space for my king. Please go ahead. Queen check. And black avoids mate, but the monster pawns, they are still there. And you can see what will happen here. So that's a crazy variation, no? That's what the Stockfish will tell you if you ask Stockfish about this position. So 2 pawns on the 7th, yeah. That's really dangerous. Yeah, really dangerous for black, poor black. So it seems he actually saw this variation, but in his great book, he says that a little detail that he did not see. So now, please don't send me the move, Chessart. I think I will revoke the pawn. So what he did not see was the continuation after, instead of knight h6, the move queen h4. I think somebody probably gave it away in the chat, else you can do it now. You get only 30 seconds because you're monsters with calculation also. So here we go, white to play and win. Which was the detail that the Grandmaster did not see? Aha, Carlos, happy pawn. Heuristic Mind, Charles, Brian, Santos, Ryan, HDI, Marcus, Sui, Random, and so on. A lot of people got this right. Congratulations. That's what would have happened here. Pretty tactic. I remember I learned this as a kid, this tactic when you sacrifice to make a pawn queen. Oh, in this specific. Now I see, says Hollow Blade. This looks like winning lines in my game. Oh, I see, Tori, yeah. Please go ahead, Marcus. You can tell us what should white play here. What did the Grandmaster miss? A little nasty detail here for black. This pawn is having a big impact on the battle. After queen takes, white has the pretty move. Aha, rook f8. Exactly. And black is unable to stop the pawn from queening. Actually, material is so-so here for white. I mean, black is about equal material-wise, but the new queen will be very powerful. So it's going to be difficult for black this game, right? Because white still keeps a strong attack, and you can, I guess you can bring over the knight perhaps and push the pawn and so on. The g pawn is now a happy h pawn. Aha, not cheap, just kill. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to see all this when you're sitting here with this position. I mean, if you think of it from a practical perspective, you see, of course, this idea of queen g4, queen h5. But you have 2 big variations that you have to figure out. The one is when they put the knight on h6, when you have to see this long-term sacrifice. And you have to also see the little nasty detail with queen h7. So I understand that he got it wrong here. But it was a very entertaining game, I would say. So anyway, there was some other. How did he see the complex line? Not simple. Yeah, ask him. I'm not. I'm nobody's lawyer. No, I don't know why that happened. The other one was much harder. Yeah, I can imagine. But chess players, we're all different. No, we're all unique. So anyway, there were some questions here. Somebody said something about knight b5. When was that, Sarthak? Yeah, sometimes calculating lines for so long makes your brain mushy and you miss the easy moves. I agree, Tori Chess. That happens to all of us. I went to the bathroom, says Hollow Blade. Knight b5 and move 3. But what is move 3 here? Come on, Sarthak. We're not at move 3. You're at what point? You mean in the other line, maybe? Queen g4, knight f5, queen h5. You mean here, I think. Knight b5. Yeah, I guess if you play that, I'll play my favorite move, bishop d7. Sarthak just unmute. So I think I go bishop d7, and I think your move is not that impressive, is it? Yeah, very tricky variation in any case. You're going to play knight b4. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand. Before. Yeah. Anyway, I think we got to grips with this game. So very entertaining game. He played the French with the white pieces. He played this fascinating gambit. I can recommend it to anyone who likes attacking play. Please beware that not every time they will take the pawn. Wesley Saul didn't, for instance. Queen g4, clever move, building up an attack on the king side. Black, yeah, don't take the pawn on e6. Queen g3, fast development. No bad feelings about giving away the bishop pair. You needed to get rid of this knight before it settled on e4. Knight e5. And this is a move that you should all remember, no? You should all remember this move just to make sure that you're good students. You will have to do this in 5 seconds. What did white play? Anyone? Aha, everybody learned a lesson here. That's what we call active exchanges now, or trading off the defending pieces, or whatever you would like to call it. Okay, Mr. Chicky Dude, tell us please, what should white play here? Aha, rook f1. You cannot unmute. I don't know about mute or unmute. Any technical issues? Yeah, you can ask Chessable. Great place, by the way, Chessable Classroom. So rook f1 is what he played in the game, and later on he had a hand on the trigger after. Yeah, this is terrible, as we said. Now bishop takes and queen g6. So Wesley Saw took first on f2. No thanks. We don't want to play French endgame exchange up, but black has 2 pawns in the center. No thanks. We want to continue the attack. Pawn takes, of course, rook takes. Bishop g6, fantastic move in the spirit of Mikhail Tal. Unfortunately, at this point, white did not see the last detail here. Queen h5, with a plan that if black plays knight takes, you have to take and play here g4. Something about the relative value of the pieces, no? Like, these 3 pieces are very, very important. The knights, you almost don't use it in the whole game, right? But these guys are not really in the battle. So anyway, we should continue. We will look at some of his games with the black pieces now, okay? This took a long time. Let me show you a much shorter game, okay? Let me show you a much shorter game. What about rook f6? I'm sorry, 206. We'll have to check that next time, I'm afraid. I wanted to show you some of his games with the black pieces. This is from the Danish team championship some years ago. He's almost always replying to d4 with d5. The same goes for e4, e5, as aggressive as possible, you could say. After c4, usually c6 comes, but in this game he played e6 instead. White played at this point g3. Question to everybody. The most an aggressive choice with black, an aggressive choice for black. Is there any way to spice up this game and avoid it becoming a boring Catalan? Anyone? h5. No, he did not play h5. That would not be unusual for him to play something like h5. But no, he didn't play that. He has that, I think, some other c5. That's what they played in the game. So basically what black is doing here, it's a slightly unusual move order, no? I would say. I'm not an expert on the Catalan, but if I'm not mistaken, you usually start with knight f3 here, right? And then you play, after black plays knight f6, then you play g3. On the other hand, in the other move order, when black plays knight f6, c4, e6, here you basically have to play g3 because, you don't have to, but it's a way to avoid the queen's Indian, right? If you played knight f3 first, of course, then it can move into the Catalan like that. But black could also consider to play the queen's Indian, which they cannot if you play g3. So my point is that here it's quite useful to play g3 and move 3. But in the other example, you would have to convince me that, in the game, no? You would have to convince me that there is any benefit from this to that. And I can't see it. So I think this is a very good choice, what he played, c5. But I think there is some other way also of playing. But what he played was very clever, this move c5. Because now there is already some confusion on the board. Now you're about to take on d4 and play knight c6 and so on. That's not what white wants, of course. So I think white should have played knight f3, and now you get into other positions. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what are we playing here, because if you face the Taras with the white pieces, if somebody plays the Taras against you, like this, I don't think g3 rates highly in this position. I think most people would automatically take on d5 and play knight c3, or maybe then they play g3. Correct me if I'm wrong. They would play something like that, right? So anyway, yeah, maybe this is not making sense what I'm saying, but that's my way of understanding this. Yeah, knight c6 and bishop g2, and you have a standard Taras now. White will castle and black will continue developing the pieces and so on. But here something else happened, because there is pawn tension, there is early confusion after c5. If pawn takes, you can maybe take with the queen. I don't know what this means, if this is possible. Yeah, if knight f3, anyone let me know, is this playable with black, or maybe it's nothing special? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe white should have played like that instead. In any case, let's check what happened in the game. After c takes d5, he did not take on d5. He took on d4 instead. All right, we're at move 4, and it's already a mess now. It's already a messy position. Anyone, can you tell me which opening is this? C takes d4. Does this look like something you have seen before? The mess. No, No, you have not seen this? All right, I will let you know. There is this gambit. You must have seen this, at least those of you who play d4 with white. There is this gambit, no? Knight c3, c5, and after c takes d5, instead of taking on d5, you take on d4. No, not the Albin counter. This is the Skara-Hennig gambit. And yeah, like this. I will write it to you, but to pronounce it is a different story. German name, Hennig, maybe. I have no idea. I'll write it here like that. Okay. Yeah, exactly, 206. You were closest. So this is actually what he played once against Karpov. Yeah, he tried this against Karpov, but Karpov defended very well. I think Karpov played like this, and he took there, and then he just took, and he brought back the queen. And yeah, Karpov is Karpov. That was a difficult game. But here you can see there is no g3. While in our game, as you can see, he's basically playing this gambit, but against g3, which makes a different story, no? C takes d4. Now it's confusing what's going on here. If bishop g2, anyone, would you take the pawn or would you play something else? Of course, L. Now we play e5, and who knows what's going on? Yeah, theoretically new position probably. So white played like in the other line, they played queen a4 instead. And he played here bishop d7, queen takes d4, and e takes d5. And he knew, of course, he knew that he had tricked his opponent. This would be the other position. This would be the typical position. But then knight c3 is in. And white does not have any thoughts on playing g3. That's not at all in their plans. But now we have this position instead. And this is like a liability, this move g3. So again, this is another case of pawn grabbing. No, don't take those pawns, please. Don't do that. Keep them for later. All right. This is not a good pawn to take at this moment. It was better to just develop knight f3 and just try to get a normal game. White goes all in. Black, yeah, anyone? Of course, knight f6. You can see that taking another pawn is suicide. They had to go back with the queen. And everybody, you can guess Black's next move here. I will give you just 10 seconds for the next move. It's about common sense, all right? Common sense. Wow. Everybody wants to play something else. Okay, we have 3 winners. HDI, 206, Heuristic, and Brian. No, I won't say it's a mistake, and I don't have a chess engine at my side. But if you play bishop c6, I would say that you're like showing your cards very soon. I'll play knight f3. My next move is bishop d2. I will castle, and so on. I don't think I have any big problems here. There is a much nicer move, and it's a very simple one. Please go ahead, HDI. What would you play here? Don't commit the bishop. The bishop is already out. We don't need to move the bishop again. Please go ahead. Oh, sorry, I gave it to the wrong student. HDI. Yeah, here we go again. Sorry. So that's what we call flexibility, right? They also say knights first in the opening. So flexibility, this move can't be wrong. Because we're having knight e4 next. We have maybe rook c8 coming up and so on. I don't think he spent too much time on this. Already now it's critical. The position is critical. I said knights first. This was the last chance of saving the game. But it's still very unpleasant, this game for white. I'm not sure exactly what would black play here. Queen b7, rook b8. Yeah, don't take the pawn for sure. Come on. I hope that was a joke, those who said that. Yeah. How on earth could you play something like this? You think you can stay alive here? No, I don't think so, no. I'm making you pay for the lack of development also. So, yeah. Knight f3 was the last chance in the game. We're at move 9. This would keep the game going. I'm not sure exactly what black would play. It looks entertaining to play this with black, but it's not clear exactly. Maybe you could just give check and castle and so on. But he played in the game here, bishop g2. Yeah, that was a disastrous move. And I think the rest is easy, no? Yeah, no, don't fight in the chat, please. No fighting. Let's just enjoy the show. Okay, I'll ask you for the next 2 moves. You get only 20 seconds. Okay? It's already winning now, by the way. We're winning. Happy pawn, you got it. Congratulations. That's how the game went. Sui random, have another winner. Bishop e4 is probably possible also. If that, I will play knight c3. A lot of people got it right. Yeah. He has Stockfish 16. Well, if anyone uses a chess engine right now, that's not beneficial for your learning. That's all I will say. Please go ahead, Mr. Chicky. You can tell us how should black continue here. Oh, I mentioned this earlier. Yeah, absolutely no problem. Now the time is right for this punishment. Yeah, no check on a4. They had to play queen d1, and black played bishop f5. So yeah, it's game over already. They cannot stop this. There is nothing like that. So imagine you're winning after 10 moves. White played e4. Black just, yeah, you can continue, mister. You can continue. This is not difficult. Aha. Yeah, who should stay and who should go? The bishop should stay, of course. Aha. Knight a3 was played by white. Try to finish off this in style, Mr. Chicky, or anyone would like to help Mr. Chicky. Bishop takes as chess art, that's right. And the last move in this game. I can do it. Chess art, aha, knight c3. Yeah, white resigned. This was not a good day at the office for white. You can see knight c2 is coming next. That's not how you should play your Catalan. Probably the worst Catalan ever, this game with white. But okay, improvements were easy to find, but it's a nice example of his straightforward style. I like this move c5. Some kind of Taras with g3 too soon. Pawn takes and pawn takes. This is probably the game changer here. If queen takes, of course, he was going to play knight c6 and then take on d5, I guess. So, all right, let's continue. Let's take another game. If you're in it for some obscure openings, this is another interesting game. Yeah, you will like this game. You will like this game, but try not to have the engine on, okay? So he was playing. This is actually Haubro is the current Danish champion with the white pieces. He played here. This was the Ruy Lopez, and yeah, you can play the Ruy Lopez in many ways. And I know that Hector has a bunch of different lines. Very often he plays the what's the name of it? The Arkhangelsk with knight f6 and then b5 and bishop c5, something like that. He's very good with these lines. He also puts the bishop on b7. Maybe next time we can have a look at one of those games. However, in this game, he plays instead d6. So anyone, could you tell me the difference between playing d6 on move 3 and playing d6 on move 4? Anyone? What does that mean? That's right, Gordon. Gordon says d4 is discouraged. Yeah, you could say something like that. If d4 now, black will always consider to play b5. There you have this old trap when you take on d4 and they cannot take too many times because you have c5. And yeah, you know that trick, right? The one with, yeah, how does it go? Like this and that. Yeah, very basic. But okay, it's good to know this stuff. No, queen d5. And if you never saw it before, well, here we are. So this cannot happen if you play d6 on move 3. If you play d6 on move 3, white can happily play d4 now. I believe this is the best move here. So anyway, let's continue with the game. c3. Question. Oh, Novak's arc. Thanks, heuristic and happy on. Question. An aggressive option for black here. Exactly, L. That's right. That's what he played, of course. He also liked to play the King's Gambit. I had to play that against him also. Once, I think we had a game where he played f4. So yeah, that's the kind of game that aggressive players likes. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, a6, bishop a4, d6, c3, and f5. That's how the game went. It's called the siesta variation, but it's not really for taking a siesta. It's becoming very interesting. Anyone, what does white play here? I think for this reason, a lot of people, they castle instead. They castle here instead. We had this in one session, if you remember. We saw an interesting game in this variation. If you remember that game, perhaps. But anyway, we can take that another day. Here they played c3 and black played f5. Yeah, that looks familiar, exactly. Yeah, we can continue. White usually takes on f5 and then they just castle. Black plays bishop d3. This looks impressive, but next turn white will play bishop c2. And it becomes quite a balanced game. However, in this game, Haubro played instead d4. And now you can say, hell breaks loose on the board after this move, d4. What would you play with the black pieces? Anyone? We have to go all in here. Exactly, Chess Crusher. We go f takes e4. White also goes all in. And I have seen this many times. Whenever they sacrifice against him, this kind of situation where king safety is involved. He's extremely brave, and he even likes to move the king. He has one chapter about his king, I think, about the king. So if you go all in here, of course you take. That's the first thing to check here. And white played in the game, as you can guess here, queen h5. All right, it's time for us to do some process of elimination. Black has 1, 2, 3 legal moves. Anyone? What should we play? That's right, Gordon. Aha, sacrificing encourages sacrificing. Interesting. King e7, of course, that's the right move. He didn't need a long time for this. The other moves were bad because king d7, you invite d5, I think. And if you play g6, yeah, evidently white will take. And I think this is not one of those cases where you can just give up h8. Yeah, you have some issues with bishop b3 also, right? So yeah, that's not healthy for black's king safety if you played something like that. So he simply played here king e7, and the game becomes very interesting. Aha. Yeah, if white takes on g5, I'm sorry, if they play knight, bishop g5, we will play knight f6, and this will lead to the same thing. If anyone asks, hey, but you can just take on c6 and play d takes e5, isn't white winning here? Well, just wait a little and you'll see what happens in the game. Because they took first on c6, and he took back. And after bishop g5, only move is knight f6, all right? White played d takes e5, and now, guys, it's your turn. You will have to find a very clever move at this point. I will give you just 30 seconds for this move, all right? You don't have to calculate it. Okay, this was very easy for you. HDI, RKDK, Santos, congratulations. Heuristic Mind, you also found it. Interesting move by 206. Interesting. Marcus, I think I can just take on g4, right? That cannot be a good move. Daniel, I can take on g4, I'm afraid. So GM, you got it also. Chess Crusher, check after d takes e5. Yeah, I don't understand that comment, but okay, we will come to that. Fianchetto, you got it right also. Please go for it, Fianchetto. You can tell us what should black play at this point. Aha, clever move. Pinning and unpinning, you could say, no? Because now if white takes, we are the ones pinning, right? We are the ones pinning here after pawn takes, and the queen is in a bad spot. You know what's interesting about this? There is such a variation with white. Yeah, I have a tricky question for all of you. In which opening could this happen, but with reversed colors? Can you think of that? Yeah, that's very hard to understand. Well, could this happen with, yeah, almost Smart Goldfish, you're very close. Where could this happen with reversed colors? Almost exactly the same position. Yeah, it's funny. This happens in another opening. No idea. Good answer. Very honest answer by Adi Chess. Let's flip the board. I'll tell you. It happens in this opening. Anyone? What's the name of this? The Vienna, exactly. The Vienna Gambit, you say. Vienna game, I think you just call it, right? D4. There is a variation like this, where after D3, black plays the funny move bishop b4. I think here you end up in the same variation. Now, pawn takes, queen h4, king e2, bishop g4. Does this look familiar? I think it is, no? Knight f3, bishop takes e3, pawn takes, d takes e4. Just to see if you and me are on the same page. Please do me a favor here and tell me white's best move. But you get only 5 seconds. Okay, everybody is on the right track here. I got a lot of correct answers. Please go ahead, Ryan, you can tell us. Ryan, what should white play here? It's almost exactly the same. Aha. So again, you can play like that. Aha, you're right, Ryan. We can pin the pawn. So I have another trivia question for you here. Which world champion played like this? Which world champion played this once? I don't see the right answer. I can see all the names: Anand, Karpov, Tal, me, Lasker, Kasparov. Korchnoi was not a world champion. Steinitz, okay, you got it, heuristic. Steinitz played this back in 1876. And yeah, this was Steinitz Blackburn back in 18... yeah, you were very close. Those of you who said Anand were not exactly close, yeah. So this was played a long time ago, and Johnny Hector, he explains in his book that he's sometimes using these old games as an inspiration for new opening adventures and so on. So this was played in the Steinitz game. I think it went like this: Bishop h5, and Steinitz played King e3. Remember this: Bishop takes f3, and Steinitz played Bishop b5. And yeah, those who thought that these players were boring players, look at this game: c6, d takes f3. Steinitz played a lot of strategical games and so on, but this is a different story, right? C takes b5, queen takes e4, queen h6, king f2. Unclear game. Steinitz, Blackburn. I think Steinitz, he won this game later on. You can see that if queens are traded, actually it's great to have the king in the center. No? So everyone in the 1800 were not boring. Yeah, crazy games back in those days. So anyway, now that you have seen Steinitz's game, we're ready to go back to Joni Hector. So we had, it's a short game, by the way. This is the last game for today. No worries, we will soon finish. This looks like an opening disaster for Black, but it's actually White who should be very careful. Queen d5 was played in the game. And here what Hector is explaining is that White should have played Bishop h4. Those of us who saw Steinitz's game were not surprised. And we should play King e6. And anyone, how do you think White should continue here? What is the best White can get here? Yeah, that's a hard question. Yeah, castles it's not a very good choice. Then I think you can just take on e5, and Black's king is perfectly safe in the center. Aha. No, the thing is that White is already worse, and White should try to make a draw instead. Yeah. It was hanging. Sorry. Yeah, don't castle for sure. I'm very sorry. Yeah, the best option here, Santos said it. Bishop takes f6, and after pawn takes. Unfortunately, White is a piece down, and they have no real compensation, so it's time to take a draw here with queen e8 check. Yeah, Black will have to go up, and White will have to go down. Hector also explains that if you have to go back with the queen, right, and you make a draw. But he explains also that if g4, there is king takes and rook g1 and king h4. So that's actually part of his preparation. It's something that he checked many years ago and so on. So that's a nice final destiny for the king. Black is winning here. It seems that White does not have enough fuel for the attack to work, and it's probably Black who is soon starting their own attack here. Sorry, Bishop g4 and so on. So yeah, that's what White should have played, and I think that White in this game, Hobro, he was not familiar with this to the same extent. He played here the move f4 instead. And yeah, you can see the idea. White's idea is that if Black now moves up the king, now we can actually take, and this means that we can give the check on e8. And now the variation works perfectly, right? Anyone, what would you play with the white pieces here? Yeah, now it's foolish, exactly. Now we play g4 because we have some extra protection. That's what Hector explains here. King takes. And if you ever played, what's the name of this game? Bughouse. Yeah, if you played Bughouse, you can imagine this kind of game. Yeah, if you got the pawn, you could put it on g4 and mate them. But okay, you don't get any pieces, but you can use the pieces that you have on the board. You castle long and so on. This is probably very dangerous for Black. So he did not play like that in the game. Yeah, he played in the game instead. After f4, he played a simple move here, e takes f3, so that these pieces are still a little loose, especially the pawn on e5. It's already difficult for White to continue here. They tried castles, and of course I have to quiz you for the last move in the game. I think it's the final move in the game. So anyone, what do you think will happen here? This will close our investigation of Joni Hector's games. You get, at least for today, you get 30 seconds. Black to play and win, basically, here. Okay. Queen c5, half a point, okay? Half a point. 206, you got it. You mated me in 3 moves here. You can probably take on e5, but if you take on e5, I take on f6 and I take on f3 and you play bishop f5. Oh, that was your idea. Okay, half a point then. Yeah, don't get angry at me. There might be more than one good choice here, okay? But there is one path which is nicer than the rest. And that's the one that I'm quizzing you for. So, okay, please go ahead, 206. You were the fastest one here. Yeah, half a point for sure, if you found the other solution here. So it's our trademark move in this game, king e6. The king goes up. You can also say some kind of prophylactic thinking, because now when White takes on f6, it's not with check anymore. And if I indeed take on f6, I got mated. It's actually white's king who suffers in the end. So that's the variation that he had prepared. And I think white does not have any other good move. If you said other moves here, yeah, no hard feelings. Some of you said f6. I think there was somebody saying also, what did you say here? Queen takes e5. Yeah, I guess you can play like that. But actually, if you play like that, I think I will not do this. I will play knight e2, and I'm hoping to get rook e1 in. Or is that too ambitious? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe you can just... No, you cannot put the king down. Yeah, those of you who said queen takes e5, you would have to explain what to do next here. I can't say it clearly. Bishop e6 maybe. Yeah, that's probably a good move. Aha. Yeah, anyway, what 206 was explaining, I think it's simpler now. King e6, very beautiful attacking move. In this way, we get ready to bring in the bishop. And yeah, the queen is, by just for the record now, the queen is hanging right now. And queen h3, I don't think it's a big improvement. If you want to be brave, you can play king takes. And if you're not so brave, I think king f7 is just good enough. So yeah, great game. Very quickly, what happened here? White played Ruy Lopez. This was not going to be one of those long, complex, closed Ruy Lopez games, the Breyer variation and so on. No, this was the siesta variation with f5. Black is playing some kind of delayed King's Gambit, you could say, with some also resemblance to the Vienna game. d4 is not correct. It's much better to take, as they usually do. But you have to know your theory here. F takes e4, and after knight takes e5, we simply take on e5 because of the queen h5. We can play. We have to play here the move king e7. It looks a little shaky, but we should not be too scared of this. After bishop takes, pawn takes, bishop check, knight f6, pawn takes e5. Here we had a key move, just to see if we're on the same page. Anyone? Do you remember what black should play here? You get only 5 seconds. It seems everybody got this right. Yeah, good work. Please go ahead, Sui Random. Tell us, what did black play at this point? Clever move, counter-attacking, you could say. Some pin coming up now on the 5th rank. Exactly. White played f4. Last chance was this funny draw with bishop h4 like that, and then take with the bishop. Yeah, that's hard to see, right? First you go back with the bishop, and then you take. That's quite unexpected, no? But that was the last chance. f4 was played in the game, and black simply took on f3 because they are, in this way, renewing the pressure on the 5th rank. And after castles, we had a last game in the move. Just for fun, just to see that we're on the same page here. Tell me black's last move here. Aha, that's right. Yeah, everybody got this right. So, yeah. Interesting games now. I think I will show you something more. We will have one more session about Joni Hector's games. We will look at that next time. Yeah, congratulations all those of you who found the move king e6. It happens in the opening that the king should actually go up. I think this is by far the best move here, by the way. Don't go down. In that case, maybe white can. Yeah, what would be the difference, by the way? Anyone? If we go down with the king, what would be the difference? I'm wondering. There should be a difference, no? There is always a difference. Bishop takes f6, maybe. Oh, I see. Yeah, he played king e6 in the game. Aha, exactly. What happened here? Yeah, anyway, I can't make it to move the pieces. I don't know what happened. Pawn takes, castles. Give me just one moment, please. Something happened here. I think Chessable Crash Room got too much. Yeah, now I could play king d8. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. But if you put the king here, perhaps there is some issue on the d file. Is that so? E takes f6 is possible now. And if bishop c5, isn't that the same mate? Or did I miss something? This looks like mate also, right? So, yeah, maybe there is some difference here. Or it was just more fancy to play king e6. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Interesting. In any case, king e6, that was the last move in this game. Interesting games by Swedish Grandmaster Joni Hector. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks to Chess Dojo, to Chessable, to Greg Shahadi, to USCS, and thanks to everyone who attended today. See you next week then. Thanks. Bye-bye.